Does anybody have an opening question for Howard?
Howard, I don't know exactly how to put this except when you were doing your analysis of the OSU budget, what are the top two things that kind of stood out to you where OSU seemed to be not in alignment with its mission as reflected in the budget as you analyzed it? Or we're doing worse than comparable universities?
Well, first thing I want to say is the university is doing very well financially.
Yeah.
They have the money. They've always had the money. The issue is, are they spending it? Are they spending it the right way? And so, to me, if you go to slide 58, am I right to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is someone able to do that?
Yes.
We're doing that right now.
We're doing it as you speak.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought that was the way to. Sorry.
Alex is working on it. We'll tell you when he's got it.
Dual screen function is a little weird.
There we go.
58? Yeah.
Yeah. So this to me is the priority. Are they spending the money the right way? And again, what I'm looking at here is through the actual spending, not the budget. The
Okay.
budget is just a plan.
Right.
And when you get budget information, either from your College of Arts and Sciences or engineering college, you're getting just snippets of the whole thing. What this slide does is looks at the whole university, but it can only look backwards. But 2015 is not that far. I mean, it's not like it's 1915. It's 2015. And the 16 year, well, we're in the city, and it's toward the end, but we're still not done. And so when you look at this graph on slide 58, there is an uptick in instruction, but we're going to, as I want to go over the next two slides to really answer your question.
Okay, thanks.
I was surprised. Okay, I was surprised in looking at this slide that the percentage going to research is going down. Because Oregon State, I mean, let's face it, its reputation, and, everything you read in here, I think I've been there several times, as you guys know, it's all about the research agenda.
Yeah, right.
We are a research university, and obviously they are, but I was surprised that the amount of work for research was going down. Now, they may respond, maybe administrators may respond by saying, well, the reason why research is going down is less money available for federal and state level for faculty to apply. And that may or may not be true, and I try to get at that a little bit. But still, a little disturbing overall. The uptick in auxiliaries is housing, dining, student living, athletics. To me, that's kind of like, and the last one, the one at the bottom, institutional support, which is upper level admin. If we go to the next slide, can we go to slide 59?
Yeah, we're there.
Yep.
We're there.
Okay, this just looks at a one-year change, from 14 to 15. And I don't know what was in their budget, but most recent year, the two most recent years, why is the top category, institutional support, that is upper level administration. That's your president, your vice presidents, your provosts. There's nothing else in there but the top of the top. And why are those going up the most? And instruction going down. I think these are the kind of metrics that really help you answer the priority question, which is, are they putting their money the right way? Now, Tony, if you go to slide 60,
Yeah, we're going
I
there.
want to preface this slide by saying, are these the right peers for Oregon State? Only you guys can answer that. Only you know as faculty, staff, and other people who work in and around the university.
Howard, real quick, I'm just going to tell people what the peer group is. It's for those that can't see. It's UC Davis, Purdue, NC State, Colorado State, University of Arizona, Michigan State, and Iowa State. That's our peer group.
I could say this, having lived in Michigan, I don't teach Michigan State, but my wife went there, which is close enough. seem like a lot, but, I mean, it shouldn't be low. I mean, why are they not spending as much? And I think this is somewhat disturbing, and it really goes to, it goes to the priority question as to why they are lower than the others. And if you skip ahead to slide 62, if I can just get another graphic of it. This is upper level admin as a percentage of total expense. So what you see in this slide is Oregon State or OSU is towards the top in spending on administration, but the other slide had Oregon State toward the bottom in spending on instructional research. And that's just not good. That's not how it should be, in my opinion. And questions should be asked. And these are the kind of metrics that administrators typically do not really put their, they don't really pay that much attention to these kind of metrics. But to me, I think they should be paying attention to these kind of metrics. And if you go to slide 65,
Okay, we're there.
this is just salary. So the other slides, when I say instruction, that includes not just salary, benefits, it includes depreciation, grants, interest. It includes a whole bunch of other stuff inside. What do we pay people to teach? 65 is, what do we pay people to teach, and what do we pay people to do research? And you can see here, again, not that much lower, but still lower than the others. Why? If those are your peers, on a percentage basis, why are you lower? Why is Oregon State spending less? And I think the next two slides, to me, tell the story. 66 is the president's, it's like the org chart for the administration. And when you look at this chart, first of all, there's a lot of names on it.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I'm not so sure how many academics are in the room. And it's not like academics are the greatest people to walk the planet. I'm not suggesting we're the only ones in town or we're the only ones that matter. But there should be more of an academic voice in that room. And on 67, I just took it right from the website. The word cabinet, just the word. I'm older than everyone in the room put together, except for maybe Bill. And maybe Tony, I'm not sure. But for the rest of you guys, I'm older than all you guys put together. Whenever I heard the word growing up, when we heard the word cabinet, we thought of the president's cabinet or maybe a chief executive officer. But now universities have used this form of language. And when you look at this cabinet, well, yeah, there are some academics on here, there are some deans on here, but I don't know. There's a lot of people in upper administration. Now, as I said when I was there, this is a big place, Oregon State. I mean, it took me like a week and a half to walk from one end of campus to the other. It is a big place. There's a lot going on. Let's face it, this is a huge place. And I'm not saying you should have no administrators, but I really think, why is Oregon State, percentage-wise, have more administrative costs in terms of institutional support and less instruction and research support than Pearson? To me, that's
a problem.
should be addressed.
Yeah.
Make them answer it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, what they'll probably say is, oh, we categorize things differently, we count them differently. That answer really has no merit, because what counts in these categories is pretty obvious. There are rules, there's a glossary, what's in there is what's in there, in these categories. But make them answer. I mean, my view is, as an AEP chapter, and as we're working with AFT to hopefully do something more there, we need that voice. Our teaching these classes, make sure these classes are the appropriate size, make sure these students can get through and graduate. And, you know, if you ask me, I would go to that cap, is there really a gut level commitment to success on the academic side for the students? Do they really want these students to succeed? Do they really want this to happen? And I'm not convinced that the people on the board really get that. I think sports, and I hate to bring this up, but I don't know if any of you have seen me on national television in the last week, if I can brag, in the last month or so, I've been on HBO, and I've been on ESPN. Here at Eastern Michigan, we are, the faculty and the students with the Bunsis Report, suggesting that Eastern Michigan drop Division I football. I don't think Oregon State should be dropping Division I football, and I'm not, but, having said that, I do think Oregon State spends too much money on it, and too much money on sports. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And I think these questions need to be addressed. So we've been saying this at my place. We can't compete with a place like Oregon State or UO in terms of sports. What we try, it's not just that we lose on the field. I could care less if success on the field. It's the money. And there's no doubt that money is being diverted from the core mission to athletics. There's no doubt in my mind it's happening at OSU. And I am not saying get rid of Oregon State football. No. And you can stay in the Pac-10. And I think trying to suggest that Oregon State leave the Pac-10, I wouldn't go with it. I don't see it. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. But I'll tell you this. My university dropping Division I football, I actually think is going to happen in a couple of years. But Oregon State's not leaving the Pac-10. The Pac-10, it's become... I just think sports is too big. Yes, I see a hand raised.
Yeah, that was me, Howard. Andy.
Yeah.
I wanted a follow-up question. On the first slide you showed us on 57, I guess, you talked about the kind of declining amount of money going into research. 58. What we hear from faculty is that they are constantly being pressured to bring in money to support themselves doing research. So input, large federal grants coming into the university. So my question is, the chart you have that has declining OSU spending on research, does that include the funds that faculty bring into the university on the grants that they have written and won, and then they're spending to conduct their own research?
Okay, good question. What that includes, that is actual spending on research. So we're talking about, let's say a faculty member brings in an NIH grant, right?
Yeah.
That grant money comes in to the university. Then the university, let's say as part of that money, that NIH grant, they pay that faculty salary. They pay the salary of 6 graduate students working with them. All that spending is in that category, is in that research. Okay? If they're spending money on supplies, if they're spending money on materials, if they're spending money on travel for PI and others, that's all part of that spending. That line is money out. Even if the money's come in, even if the money's come in, it's what's ever being spent. So you're really getting to the crux of the issue. Is the money, that's going to be the money coming in. So let me, if I could, and if you don't mind, if you guys go to slide 42. I know it's a table, but that's what it's a graph. So what I had here, I had 2011, 13, and 15. And this is the external award. So this is the other part. This is the money coming in. And you can see it definitely went down in 13, but now it's picking back. It's picking back up.
Are these numbers in millions? What are they in thousands?
Yes.
Millions?
Yes.
So
We're talking in 2015, $219 million in grants, 185 in federal grants, and then 34 million in non-federal grants. That makes sense.
can I just read this really quick for people that can't see? In 2011, the grand total was 208 million. went down to 182 in 2013, and as of 2015, it was 219 mil. So it did go down in 2013, but went back up, and it's higher than it was in 2011.
So there's no doubt that faculty, look, grants are great for universities in many ways. First of all, if a grant comes in, it's money coming in, and it's also often referred to as soft money. You guys have heard that term, I'm sure. That means that instead of the university writing a check for that faculty member's salary, an external agency is writing a check for that. So there's the pressure right there. Now, there's also prestige, I guess at some level. But financially, there's also something called indirect costs. And so when a university does a grant, they charge this federal agency, or as you see, mostly federal agency, for indirect costs. The university takes that money for indirect costs and spends it on all sorts of things, but I can tell you this, I promise you this, these are profit-making activities.
So
They
Howard,
make money on every grant. There's no doubt that universities make money on grants. And if you go to slide 43, if you look at 43, you see what I have here are the largest sources of these grants. And I mean, they would argue, I don't know if legitimately or not, but grants seem to be the two major sources, the National Science Foundation and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. You can see the decline from 11 to 13 and then an increase from 13 to 15. So in 2015, there were over $60 million of NSF grants. So Andy, this is money coming in. This is all coming in.
Right.
And what I had on slide 58 is the percentage of total expenses that are being spent on research as research is defined. And I can tell you that in 2015, the university said $181 million was spent on research. Now you can just see from this grant in 2015, back to slide 42, they brought in 219 and spent 181. Now I'm not saying that's all, that the difference is all pure profit, because all these grants go over several years. But I would venture to guess that in almost every single year, the grant money coming in is greater than the research money going out. That doesn't mean that something nefarious is going on. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just suggesting that your point of pressure on faculty to write more grants, I firmly believe that to be the case because they make money on these grants. It's a profitable operation. And I guess, and obviously, you want more research, you want it being done. And so I think that's great. What we have to make sure as faculty, as people who are supporting, as I look at all my AFT friends, as we support these faculty, is the infrastructure for research at the university supporting faculty in the way that they need. And it needs to be more than just go ahead and write more grants. It needs to be more than that. Is that infrastructure, has it been consistently there? Are people, to the extent they need help with writing the grants, are they identifying the grant recipients? Are they helping them secure those grants? Are they helping them administer those grants? I mean, we're talking $200 million a year. I know to some of you people that's a small amount of money, but 200 million is chump change to a couple of you guys. It's couch cushion money, right, to some of you. But seriously, don't you think 200 million is a lot of money? Let's make sure that if the university is bringing in $200 million in grants and spending on that, that the people who are doing that research are being supported in the right way. And as I look at Heather and Andy and others, even if some of those people may not be the most quote-unquote supportive of
Howard, I had a couple other questions too.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There was Lisa, you had a question, right?
Oh,
And
I
then
just
know
was
Kathleen.
wondering if grant overhead, the rate that they charge grants, they've upped over the last few years. I'm wondering if that explains that research trend line.
Yeah, I mean, let me say this is happening everywhere. That overhead rate that they charge, which is to me pure profit in many ways. Everyone's trying to get every ounce of dollar they can.
It's almost 50% of grants.
Agencies, as they're listed here on slide 42. Does that make them bad people? I don't know.
They're
I'm
gonna
not
pay for
against
the
that.
electricity in your lab and the lawn to be mowed.
All there is pressure on overhead rates. To me, the reason we do research is finding new ideas, disseminating that knowledge. Let's make sure that's where the focus is. The focus needs to be on the research process support. Overhead rates, yes, they're important. And yes, Andy, there's pressure. But I really think we should, when we go to a faculty office who's involved in research, I think they may start telling us about these overhead rates. I think you'll likely hear a lot of that, in my estimation. They're making us, and because that overhead rate we're putting in there, we had to take away from other things here in the project. We should hear all that. And we want to make sure we want to tell faculty, we as AUP, AFT, as we are supporting these people, we want to know what they do. I can tell you this, my experience as, I guess, a union organizer, is I'm meeting our English faculty tomorrow morning. To me, I'm an accounting professor. I mean, if I ask the people in the room, you guys all do different things. I want to know what people do. I want to know exactly what they do. And even if I'm talking to a researcher, no matter what field she is in or he is in, I want to know what they're doing. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me how you're involving the students, how this matters. Tell me if you're having any trouble with the administration. I want to hear all that. And I think if we do that as who we are as AUP, AFT, I think we'll be successful in reaching out to those people who a lot of us in our world don't always think will be that, that, shall we say, sympathetic to what we're trying to do there. But I think we just need to ask them. I mean, I hate to say it, you guys have all seen Office Space. You remember the two Bobs in Office Space? Tell me exactly what you do here. Remember that? Now, obviously they were there for a different purpose, it was comedic and all that. But I really think, I want to know what people do. And if I'm talking to an English faculty member who's not involved in this federal grant writing process, I want to know what they do also. Are you working with students? Are you teaching students how to write? Are you spending hours and hours outside of your office hours to help these students write and teach them how to write? I want to know exactly what you're doing. And just by doing that, I think we make a difference. And if we do that, and then at the same time we make the case to the administration, you're not spending your money the right way, we know where the money should be spent. We're going to learn that by talking to everybody and listening to what they're doing. And when we do that, and they don't spend the money the right way, we should tell them, you're not spending the money the right way. The people who are doing the work, the principal investigators, all those people working with them, all those support staff people, the people in the writing center. I mean, just think about I'm sure there's a writing center in organizations.
There is. Yes.
Yeah, my partner's the coordinator.
Just think of that work that people are doing in that writing center, helping first-year students. Where do I start? I mean, just think of how hard that is to work with students coming right out of high school who don't even know where to start, and how hard that work is. And we just got to make sure those are the things that get supported. Sorry.
So I have
In the bigger context, also classified staff, who, there's folks here from SEIU classified staff, and they really are the context through which the university can provide instruction and so on and so forth. They take care of the place.
yeah. So I had a couple of questions in the queue.
Are the ones, they often work with students, work with faculty, work with principal investigators, work with the people in these grant offices. They're the connection to
Yeah.
everybody.
That's right.
And you don't know them because we can't exist without them. And our lives don't go on without them. And that's just the nature of the place. And we just have to make, and they're us. They are us, they're with us. And I can tell you this, having been to OSU many times and talked
few. So we have a couple of questions here, Howard, for you.
Right?
Another, Kathleen, you had a question? And
What?
then me.
Yeah, you answered my earlier question, Howard,
Very
but,
quickly, I can't see.
oh, sorry. I'll move over so
It's
you
on
can
the
see
edge.
me. Yeah, so you're on the edge. Can you see
Hi,
me now?
Kathleen.
Yeah, hi. I noticed in looking at one of the earlier slides that there's also
Do
a
you
big,
remember which number?
I don't. There's a gap between what the university takes in for tuition and fees and what they spend on instruction by, I don't know, $40–50 million a year. What's included in their instructional expenditures?
Okay, good question.
Is that just salaries or is that something else?
No, within, let me see if I can give you the exact answer to the question. There is a slide that will exactly answer your question. Just bear with me, I promise I'm getting there. Not that. Alright. If you turn to slide 63,
Okay, we're there.
I know there's a lot of numbers here, but Kathleen asked them.
Okay.
I think I've known Kathleen longer than any of you guys here, so she has, I have to respond. This is the instruction item for iPads. So the top panel has iPads, salaries, benefits, plans, depreciation, interest, and then other, adding to $273 million. The number below, I'm looking at the 2014 column. If you go one below, salaries plus benefits plus other. So on the audited statements, what they include for instruction, and this is very standard, they're doing, the way they're doing it is the way it's typically done. You take salaries, you take benefits, and then you take other. There's $28 million in other. Other includes, if they hire consultants to help them with enrollment, they typically put that in there. If they hire consultants to help them with curriculum development, you put that in there. They sometimes put information technology or also those IT costs in there. It's hard to know what's in there. But if you look at the two, it's mostly, it's 80 to 90% salaries and benefits of anybody teaching a class. It's not the support staff. It's not the dean. It's not the associate dean. It's just the people getting paid to actually teach. Now, let me address Kathleen's other point about this gap between instruction, tuition dollars, and salaries and benefits. Well, in fairness to them, there has to be some sort of gap. As wonderful, Kathleen, as you are as a sociology professor, you're not the only one working in Oregon State. There are other people that have to work there. We do need some administration, I'm sorry to say, not as much as they have. But we also need advisors, we need counselors, we need support staff. The place can't run without all of those people. So there is going to be that gap between what they take in and what they spend. It's almost like the question was asked earlier about grants. There has to be overhead, et cetera. There are going to be some costs. But I think your point is still an interesting one, Kathleen, that looking at the two, I think one of the things that I haven't done that I kind of like what you're getting at here is to look at the tuition revenue over time and see if salaries and benefits have kept up with tuition revenue over time. Rudy and I have done this in a couple of places. My brain is, I'm so old, I can't remember if we did it here. But one of the things we do, Kathleen, is we say, let's look at tuition money and state money over time and look at instructional salaries and benefits over time and see what's going on, if you know what I'm saying. So maybe, I don't know if I'm not saying I did that here. It's something we do a lot of places, so it's something if you bug me, Kathleen, I'll make sure I do that for you so you can see basically that gap that you talk about, Kathleen.
Okay,
I want to see if that gap is moving over time. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
So we had another question, Mimi, and then I saw Sam, and then Bill.
Hi, Howard. I just had a question. I reviewed your PowerPoint, and I remember part of it highlighted different parts that classified staff were of the budget of the university, but in different categories towards the beginning of it. One of the things that was brought to my attention from the classified staff here as a concern had to do with the soft money, as you were referring to, the part of the soft money that's, taken from the university, but nobody knows how the university is spending it, because there's a particular unit in environmental health and safety on campus whose mission it is to make sure that the campus has, health and safety regulations in place and are compliant. They noticed that there were certain things going on campus in many of the buildings that were not in compliant with health and safety regulations, which is why they were curious to know about the soft money that is being taken into, the profit for the university, and whether, that's something we should potentially push to look into the details of a little more to address the health and safety on campus.
Yeah, unfortunately, audited statements aren't very good at distinguishing what we call hard money and soft money. But the way to answer your question about classified staff and where they are, and if you turn to slide 79, if you guys are there.
Yeah, we're there.
Okay. This is, as I said, as you prefaced the question by saying that classified staff are within the different categories. This is the number of employees, not expense categories like research, etc. And I think this is more relevant to the point that you're bringing up, because this is the number of employees in each of these various functions. And they have functions. It's hard to know exactly where the people responsible for what you're suggesting are. But to me, if I'm you and if I care about classified staff and organization, I want to know how my people who I represent fit into this employee categorization. They report these categorizations to the federal government. So I was a little disturbed by how they move all over the place, how some of these items that I highlighted kind of move all over the place. But I still want to know, if you're asking the question of me, are they putting enough resources into, I want to know where our people are. And to me, there's someone who works there. You can see there's 3,447. We're not on the instructional side. I want to know who these people are and who represents them and where they are. And they have to tell you this. And to me, when you follow the people, you'll know what's going on a lot better. I think, at first blush, you may look at these categories and say they don't help. But here's what I think you can do. You can say, let's take the service and maintenance categories right below management. We're talking about 350 people. I'm guessing that a lot of the people that SEIU represents are in those categories. I'm not sure, but that's what I want to find out. So from the university, you should say to them, I want to know exactly who is in these categories. They have to, somebody knows this or they wouldn't have reported it to the federal government. Somebody who works there knows this. And I'm not saying they're hiding anything, but to unearth the kind of questions you're asking about priority and safety and issues like that, this is the place to start. This is not, so again, this comes from IPEC, the federal government submission. And these are new categories. Before 2013, we did not have this many employee categories. They basically doubled the number of categories. So now, and it's hard to know how many put certain things, but to answer your question, I want to know where my people are in this job. If I'm representing them, I want to know. And if you're changing them, if you're moving things around, where are you? Who represent these people? I want to know, we want to be at the table as you're making decisions on how members working on this. So, to me, this is a good place to start.
Okay, so we had
I'll tell you this, though, let me give you a warning. Can I give you a warning? When you start going here, when you start bringing this up to them, So you've got to be ready, you've got to be saying, okay, I'm gonna write an information request, and I can help you write that information request. But they're gonna say, why are you asking? Why do you need to know this?
Well, I could bring up the safety regulations they're not compliant with.
There's a lot of things, yeah. You just personally have, my advice is, as strong as I'm sure you are as a person, you shouldn't do this alone. You should not personally walk into HR and say, tell me this. The union, you and the union leadership should all work together on this and make it an issue. I want to know where people are, how they're moving it around. And I think you guys probably know this, but let's find out. Let's dig in and find out. And they're going to get very upset with you. They're going to get very nervous. Why are you asking? Why do you want? But you guys are sitting here on a Wednesday night at 6:30, so you obviously you care about something. So as you walk out of this room after I leave, I'm hoping that you guys actually do something. And this is one of the things I'm hoping you do. And let's see what they got to say. Maybe it'll be, but just be, you don't have to yell and scream at them. You don't have to get snippy with them. Just be very factual with them. And they'll eventually, grudgingly give you the information you have. Then once you have that information, then we really start figuring out what's going on. We're trying to figure out, it's really what Tony asked. You asked a version of Tony's question. Where are they spending the money? And I also noticed there's 200, why did they go from 244 to 295 national employees in 2 years? I'm not saying it's that maybe they categorize people, I don't know. But don't you guys want to know who those people are?
Yeah. All right, Howard, I want to get in another question.
Hey, I see you're on a teacher. I can even see you guys wanting to understand.
Howard, I want to get in another question. So we had Sam in the back. You might have to speak up a little.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I hear you fine.
Okay. So this is kind of, I guess, in that similar vein. So I'm on page 68 and 69, looking at administrator salaries. We, as a student group, have tried to figure out what the word administrator means to the university. Like, who is an administrator? And I was just wondering, could you kind of tell us how you decided, like, that these were the people you would evaluate in this, like, in these slides? Like, even when we asked one of the 3 vice presidents who administrators were, he was unable or unwilling to answer us. So, like, how do we find out what they mean by administrator, and, like, how did you decide that here?
Okay, good. Here's what I'll tell you what I did here. I just went to this, the website I went to on 68, that's a state website. Usually the newspapers do this, but not so in your state. And you're able to, if you go to that website, you can search. First you just locate, you knock it down to Oregon State, you just look at Oregon State employees. And then you just sort it by salary. I hate to say this, but the people making the most money tend to be maybe shocked to hear that. And so the downside here is that there's no names attached to someone like this. I mean, what does administrator 3 mean? Administrative executive 3D mean? What does any of that mean without knowing who they really are and knowing who the people are? I think that the state has its classifications, but so the way I attack it is as follows. First of all, this is 2014. I think by now someone in your state has to have the 2015 salaries of everyone who works there. What you want is to get an Excel file that has every employee at the university, their name, their classification, and there's got to be something else to it. They're often called ORG codes, or they're called some sort of classification codes. Illinois, I guess it's something organized maybe in bigger state of Illinois. Illinois has something called a grade book. Does anyone here ever work in Illinois? Any organizers ever been in Illinois? The grade book in Illinois has all the state employees in it, and it has all. There's got to be in the state, besides this website which I use, we've got to figure out a way to get all the salaries in one place.
Yeah,
And
you got it.
I agree with you. It's frustrating. The person you spoke to, I wouldn't blame her or him necessarily. They probably have absolutely no clue. They probably could find out, but they have no inclination.
Well,
They're not gonna care. And when you look at the salaries on 68 and 69, I basically went all the way down to 150,000. And I sorted by both salary and, you can see this comes from Excel. I brought all this into Excel from that website, and then I sorted on it. I agree, I don't like, the classifications are not descriptive enough. I mean, there's nothing. Some of them are. Executive 3 athletics, 545,000. My guess is that's some sort of athletic director person. Administration, administrative 3, Pac-12, MDHCOA, sounds athletic to me. But it's like, okay, I'm gonna date myself. Any of you guys Marx Brothers fans? You guys know the Marx? Have you guys remember the Marx?
Yeah.
They had a movie named Data Races, the Data Races. And Chico was selling code books on how to figure out which horse to win. And then he had a code book for a code book. And then he had a code book for a code book for a code book. If you just Google Chico Marx, Data Races, code book, you'll laugh for about 20 minutes. That's what this is. These codes mean nothing to do. At other places, we get a little more descriptive. At descriptive, is a little better. But if you want, if you guys want to have a find me, if you email me, we can try to dig in a little deeper here to try to get to this question of can we really find out who's working here and what they pay. The other, if I go back to the earlier question, the one that was just asked, can I do that? Can I go back to slide 79?
Yeah. We're there.
The other way to attack it is to say, okay, you guys submitted that there were 295 management employees in Oregon State in 2015. Our request is, we want to know their names, their titles, their departments, their base salaries, and their W-2 salary, the W-2 compensation. So I don't need to keep going back to that slide, but I mean, look, I didn't come up with these. This took company newspaper site. This is their submission to the federal government. So it can't be a total lie. I mean, doesn't that have some truth to it? If you believe in something, you gotta believe in something. And I believe in you every next, but you gotta believe in a little more than that.
Okay, I want to get another question in from Bill.
Maybe just.
Maybe just one or two more at the most.
Yeah.
You know, Howard, I want to get back to instruction and class size, because one of the things that you mentioned when you were here was you were disturbed by the number of big classes that freshmen were going into. And I was once in a meeting of the philosophy faculty with the dean of the College of Liberal Arts. And the very first thing he said to us was, "You don't mind, do you, if we get rid of small classes?" Which I said, there was a huge silence. And then I looked at him and I said, "Yeah, Larry, we mind a lot." And
Well, look, if you guys can go to slide 84.
Yeah, we're there.
Look at the last panel of numbers where it says 2/2-9. That is the number of sections that have 2 to 9 students and the change from 2009 to 12 to 2012 to 15.
Here, I'm gonna read it really quick.
Yeah.
It's
See what they're doing.
Plus.
right. I'm gonna read it really quick to the group. From 2009 to 2012, there was minus 189 classrooms that had 2 to 9 students.
Not classrooms, class sections that were offered.
Class sections. Okay.
And there were 189 fewer sections of small classes offered from 9 and another 78 fewer from 12 to 15. So over this 6-year period, there's 280 fewer sections. There used to be 413 subsections. Now there's only 146 subsections. But Bill, the bad news is, these administrators go to school, this is happening everywhere. They don't think that there should be classes of this size. They just don't think that should exist.
Well, you know, my point is, the enrollment has been steadily going up, right? So they have more bodies, they have to fit into fewer classrooms. And they are not planning for small classes. They're not building
Here's the
small
thing.
classrooms.
If you look at slide 84 again, look at the top right number. In fall 2008, there were 1,957 sections offered. This is undergrad only, we're talking undergrad only. Go down 2 numbers. Fall 2014, 1,844. So we're talking 1,000 fewer sections, and we're talking several thousand more students enrolled. So Bill, you don't need to be an accountant to do that math, do you? There's just going to be larger classes. And to me, there's nothing, I mean, as a teacher, I'm fortunate enough this semester, I had one grad class of 10 students. The bad part for the students is every time they look at their watch, every time they yawn, I see it. But the good side is, hopefully, I'm going to get to know all these students quite well. In your line, you guys just cancel that class and not have it. Do they cancel classes at all ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying every class should have 5 students, but there are some classes, seminars, music, they teach music at Oregon State, or they're piano. Well, how do you have a piano class with like 30 students? Does that work? I mean, I do play the piano myself, but I'm not any good, but I do play it. It's actually a big thing with the piano. You can't like have 30 people on one piano. That's just not the way that class works. And you know, are there any music faculty in the room? Anyone with the music professor? Or faculty or works there? But I bet you, Bill, that they have, just take music. I would guarantee that they have decreased the number of really small music classes that they teach at Oregon State. They have just been on it. We have to get rid of these small classes. We have to get rid of them. Well, is there a law? Is there an Oregon State law that says we have to get rid of them? They just think they're not economical. And if you want to know why the university is building up cash and reserves, well, if they have fewer sections, they're just not going to be spending as much money on instruction. That's just the way it is. And you know, you made the point on enrollment. And I said to you guys when I was there in March, for a school this size, this is a huge place, to have the enrollment growth that OSU has at its current size is phenomenal. But I think one of the ramifications of that increase in enrollment has been a change in the class size distribution. And you can see that, you know, if you look at page 85, slide 85, you can see that very first panel, the big purple bar, 2 to 9, you can see it's now turned into a very small line green bar. And go to the far right, the number of sections with more than 100 students is increasing. Now, maybe you guys think that's okay. I don't know if you think that's okay. It doesn't feel okay to me, but it's happening in your place. And somebody should say something. I don't know how or why, but don't you guys think that's wrong?
Yeah.
Are there any students in the room, by the way?
Yeah,
In the ANTS department, if you don't have 12 people registered for a class, it gets canceled.
12.
Wow.
Can you say that loud, please?
So
in-
in the AMP department, if you don't have 12 students registered, the class gets canceled. In the anthropology department. So you have to have 12
You said this
minimum.
about canceling a class. And I want to hear, for the young lady who's a student, have you ever had a class canceled?
Yeah,
Have you mentioned before?
I've signed up for a class that was actually like, so the ANTS department only has so many credits offered that you have to take outside of the required classes. And this was a class that I wanted to take that term, but because enough people didn't sign up, I couldn't take an ANTS credit that term that applied to my degree. Because there were like no other
This
options.
is exactly what happens. And I'll say what the administration thinks. Let's say that class has 7 or 9 students they cancel. You know what they think you're going to do? Don't worry, you'll just move your schedule around and you'll be fine. That is what they think. But they never ask you. And you know, the Oregon State students, I can't speak for all, 30,000 or whatever. I don't think they're all rolling with money. making sure and understanding what these students are going through in order to finish. It is really hard to finish in a place like Washington. It's really hard. Though, as low as you guys think the tuition is, it is a lot of money for people to spend. Families don't have an $8,000 draw where they can just go, it is $8,000. It's really hard to get through. And when we cancel classes and make it harder. Now, I know Dwayne Plaza, who I've known for a long time, I know he's an admin now. And I really do believe, I know Dwayne pretty well, Kathleen, I know he's a long-time friend of his. I believe he does care about the student success and graduation, and he's working at that. But let me tell you what I think, and you guys can chastise me if you want. If Dwayne pushes too much and really wants to spend money and get initiatives going to help him, then they're going to tell him to get another job and go back to that. I'm telling you, when you become an admin at a place like Oregon State, there's a door on the wall of where you work. And if you don't put your principles on that door before you go to work, you're not going to make it as an admin. That's the way it is these days. It used to be the case that people like Dwayne were the administrators throughout the university. The associate deans, the deans, the provosts, and the presidents. Now, none of these people come from us. They all come from outside. They truly, and I don't think there's a recognition nationally and in Corvallis on what these students do. These students are not paid of money. They don't have unlimited amounts of time. And I don't think we recognize that enough. I think we who work with these students as advisors, counselors, and teachers, I think we know that. But I don't think the administrators get that. And look at those admin salaries. They'll do anything for that. And it doesn't make them bad people, it's just human nature. And so we have to keep, it's our job to keep standing up for these students. That's my view on that. And if we don't do it, it's just going to keep going in the wrong direction. And hopefully I've given you guys some metrics and other ways to do it. And please,
Can I get one more question before I let you
just
go?
one thing. And then, don't be, the young lady in the back, don't be afraid to email me. I mean, I do get a lot of emails, but I actually have the ability to reply. I have to read them and reply. There's no way if you send me an email, I'm not going to try to work with you guys and reply and try to figure out how you're trying to move things forward. That's my plan.
Hi, can you hear me?
It'll be fun.
Okay, awesome. So I wrote this down because I do that a lot when I'm nervous or anything like that. But so I'm an undergraduate student, and so when this information and questions are asked to administration and student leaders, it's often said that the reason for these tuition increases or for these hard decisions are due to external forces, and that they're the causation for the increases of need for money. And sometimes when these questions are asked, they get uncomfortable with the truth. And so my questions are, this is kind of like to open up conversation as well, is how can we prepare as students the articulation of the importance of the issue? And then how can we organize to critically ask these questions that need to be answered to help students, faculty, professors to really help prepare individuals to be well-rounded, educated citizens? And is there a risk for students, staff, and faculty to ask these important critical questions and to take action?
All right, well, a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Start by saying we did a good one thing. I think the external forces they're referring to, of course, is they don't believe the state appropriation is where it should be. And whether that's right or wrong, and that's why we have to raise the issue. They're blaming it on the state legislature itself. That's the external force that they blame all the time. And, okay, that's fine. The answer to that is, well, if you think that's the case, I'll tell you what we'll do. Next time you guys go to Salem, administrators, to lobby for more money, why don't you take us, the students and the faculty and the people that work here with you? Why don't we all go together and tell these legislators what we do? When they go to Salem, they probably have a full-time lobbyist over there. Well, do they ever take students up there? The only student these people ever know is the president of student government. And I got nothing against the president of student government, but he or she is not the only student in Oregon State University. There are other students, and student government's great. I think it's fine, and it's a good mechanism to work with. So let me take the next step on how you do this. At my place, what we just did, we actually produced a written document suggesting different, they're outside the student government umbrella for that last one. So all those people signed up. I view it this way. Are you going to get in trouble? You should never get in trouble for speaking up. But you need to work together. I gave the young lady right in front of you the advice that she shouldn't go alone. None of you should do any of this alone. You can't, but you have to work. The students, nothing happens, to me, nothing happens with boards and administrators unless we have the students on board. The only reason we got so much attention here in Michigan and nationally, the reason we got the attention is because there were student names on that report. That's the reason why. And so it has to be students, staff, faculty. You have the infrastructure there already. You guys have a group already that I saw, I know was represented here tonight, and was represented at the talk I gave. So you have this group that includes all these constituencies. This is the way it has to work. It can't just be one student talking to an administrator or asking an administrator, and I think it's fine, there are forums where only students meet with administrators, there are forums where only faculty and only staff can meet with administrators, that's fine. But if we want to move the agenda forward on priorities, on making sure someone is speaking up to students and finishing, then it has to be done correctly. It has to. But you have the infrastructure in place. But you guys need to do it together. And I happen to think that written documents really make a difference. Reports, asking for metrics, data requests signed by a lot of people. It scares the you-know-what out of them when you've got all this going on. Nothing scares them more than going to a board meeting and having a student representative, a faculty representative, a staff representative, all speaking back to back to back on the same topic after having given the administration a document telling them this needs to change. You guys do this, you're going to get some movement there. And it's harder at your place than in my place. We're small, we're only 23,000 students, you guys are a lot bigger. There's a lot more constituents there, there's different constituencies there, it's just a bigger place and it's harder. But this is the time. They cannot use the excuse of we don't have the money, which is often used. That's what's so great about Oregon State. As a public university, this place is doing great financially. So we got the money. We know you've got it. You can't argue with us. You don't have the money. Now we're going to talk about how to spend it so you make sure that everyone here has a voice, has a seat, and making sure when all is said and done, these students from this state get a chance to succeed. That's what we want to make sure.
Great. Well, I think that's a great closing remark, Howard. And,
Thank you so much, Howard.
Yeah, thank you.
And folks in the room, I think maybe we'll take like a little break. There is food.